Inclusiveness is a public relations thing, not what you think. Those are apparently Disney words of a Disney comment that they made to a young lady who is currently in the process of suing the Walt Disney World Company for violating her rights that are protected under the ADA, Americans with Disability Act. Where this girl's name is Morgan, and she was a former employee for the Walt Disney World Company, where she worked for the, I think it was the World of Disney store at Disney Springs. She is a person who is protected under the ADA, Americans with Disability Act, and she is currently suing the Walt Disney World Company. This young girl named Morgan, who worked for the Walt Disney World Company, has unfortunately a variety of disabilities and disorders, and yet among all those things she is thriving and she wanted to work, and apparently from the story I read she loved the concept of Disney, grew up on Disney, and wanted to work for them, which was great to be someone who has disabilities and yet is thriving and not allowing it to take from you everything that makes you you. If you want to read more about her personal story, her name is Morgan, and you can find her information from the Autoimmune Institute, and I think it comes up like Morgan's story, and if you just type in that and Disney, she'll come right up. The reason I'm making this video is that I have made quite a few videos on Disney and the daspass, which is their disability pass for accessing rides. And I have spoken before about the daspass, how Disney does not really want to give people it. They kind of go out of their way to make it as difficult as possible to be able to acquire the daspass. And I will have a lot of people in the comments, they will make comments, and these people may either be very, very huge fans of Disney, and they'll make comments like, the general comment is, why are you complaining? I'll even have people make comments, I've never had a problem getting it, or they're trying to basically negate what I'm saying, even though there are much more people who are saying what I'm saying than what they are saying. You'll also have people who will make, not nice comments like, why can't you just be patient? It's like, it's not about being patient, it's that the person has a disability. You would think like you would know, how to do basic math, but what the comments that those types of people make is that they do know how to make basic math, but what they're trying to do is they're trying to distort reality. Up is down, down is up. That's their goal in life. And supposedly Disney made this comment that inclusiveness is a public relations thing, it's not what you think. When Disney makes a movie that is very sentimental and it talks about like sensitive issues, they're not making that information, in my opinion, because they truly believe in it. They're making it because they know it sells. And they know that tale as old as time, no pun intended, movies that have been able to strike an emotion with the viewer tend to do better. But their behavior as a company is not reflecting that same mindset, because if they believed in that, you wouldn't have cases like this. So apparently when this young lady named Morgan, who was 23 at the time, went to her supervising manager and was discussing with them all her disabilities and all of that, they kind of went out of their way to emotionally abuse her, and certainly not follow the ADA, making comments like, this inclusiveness thing that you're talking about, it's not really what we do. And it's like, it's not an option. Again, as I have spoken before, when the Disney company has to give you the daspass, or they have to accommodate you as an employee, they're not doing that out of the goodness of their heart. They're doing it under regulations by the ADA. So when you have people comment in the videos and they're like, just learn to be patient, it's like, you can say that all you want, but the ADA is here to stay. The Americans with Disability Act, it's been amended and confirmed many times throughout history. And you know what? A company wants to act that way. They want to, not accommodate people within reasonable expectations. Expect to be sued. And not that was the goal of the person, because these are people who have shown time and time that they wanted to work, and then the trauma that they've gone through. But you know what? I hope that companies like Disney, or any other company that abuses someone with disabilities, I hope that the settlement is a significant amount that, number one, the person will not have to work again, and number two, that maybe they'll think twice about continuing to abuse people with disabilities. But unfortunately, these companies, they just pay up and they just keep going the way they're going. And as this young lady, Morgan, in her case, what she's claiming is that the the management within this retail store, which I believe they said was the World of Disney store at Disney Springs, failed to accommodate her disabilities under federal law. When she made when she made complaints, they retaliated, cut her hours, and eventually she was fired. So the ADA does not allow retaliation. So if you come forward and you say, I need an accommodation, I'm requesting an accommodation under the ADA, then they punish you by firing you or cutting your hours, and that is an additional complaint under the ADA, which just basically equates to more money in the settlement. She had a variety of disorders, unfortunately. She has cerebral palsy, Crohn's disease, gastroparesis, forgive me if I'm not pronouncing that right, and a colonic dysmotility. So basically, she has a lot going on. And she requested the ability to rest, to utilize a chair, which they said was certainly possible as a possibility, especially if she worked register. Or they also have different roles within these retail stores where, for example, you're doing greeting or you're welcoming guests. So there's a variety of ways that they could have accommodated her reasonably. To not lift heavy things over 10 pounds, which they made her do because she could fall. So she became dizzy, she collapsed, she had a seizure supposedly, and she ended up soiling herself multiple times because they would not allow her access to the bathroom. That's very Disney-like of them, no? You'll have people who will also comment in my videos and they'll be like, well, what do you know? Well, number one, I'm someone with a hidden disability. Two, I am educated. I'll have people all the time in my videos, they'll be like, get an education, this, that. I have a very expensive degree that fortunately, unfortunately, it depends how you look at it. I'm glad I have it, but that's a whole other story. That I am still paying off to this day, where I got a graduate degree from the University of Miami. So I have a master's from the University of Miami and I have a bachelor's degree from Florida International University. And I will have people make comments who, I would like you to give me your resume. You will have people, they come into the comments of my videos and they, like I said again, they are either super fans of Disney or they are possibly employees of Disney or Universal. And they'll be like, what's the big deal? DAS or this or that, learn to be patient. This is not your choice. The ADA exists and it's not going anywhere. Sorry. And this is a situation where I'm diverting the attention away from me and saying, let's talk about someone else. This was a girl that was 23 years old, working for the Walt Disney World Company as a retail employee in the World of Disney store at Disney Springs. And I made my own assumption that when I heard of all these disabilities, for some reason, the first thing that went through my mind was that this was an older woman. When I Googled this young lady, I was surprised to learn that she is 23. And when I saw her images, this is a cute, attractive 23-year-old girl that was working there. Why do I bring that up? I think that, in my opinion, because I've had my own experiences in life, number one, I think that you had employees there who didn't give a damn about the ADA or people with disabilities, and that they chose to act towards her how it benefited them and they didn't care. Maybe they knew the consequences, maybe they didn't, maybe they had the attitude, who cares if we get sued, whatever. But I think also there's an element to that where they saw this cute girl working there, and maybe you had a management person who went out of their way to be not acceptable behavior towards her because of what she looked like. And maybe even knowing her disabilities made them be even more cruel towards her, in the sense of, you see this girl who's young, who's cute, who's thriving, and even with her disability, she's thriving and wanting to do good in her life. And when you would say, well, aren't those all amazing qualities? Yes, of course, but for people who are monsters, and there are monsters out there, those qualities are not good qualities. And you have people who, I once read an article on how to describe these types of people. You have people that look human on the outside. They are biologically human when you go to the doctor and all that. But on the inside, they are a monster. And that's the only way to describe them. And if you have someone who has abused and retaliated against someone with disabilities, that person is a monster. That is the only way to describe them. They walk among us. They look human, but they are not human. They are biologically human, but they are internally a monster, because if you would, emotionally abuse and retaliate against someone's job and not accommodate them and all that and everything else that they did, that is a subhuman person. I also wanted to talk about very briefly, you'll have these people who are kind of like these, to the end of times, Disney fans and bloggers, and some of your older lady bloggers that do Disney content. They fangirl like you've never seen about Bob Iger and Josh Tomorrow, and it's like they will, when you hear them speak, what they actually, and you actually listen to the words they're saying, what they will comment on is their appearance. I love the way he dresses. He dresses so elegantly. What a handsome man. It's like, do you like his policies or do you want to take him on a date? Because if you're talking about his $3,000 cardigan that he wears, and your, we could compare your $70 Spirit jersey that you buy that's worth, 25 cents. Are you interested in his policies, or are you interested in taking him on a date? Whether in life I do content where I go to a theme park, I'm going to give you an example. I could do a vlog in the future where I check into the Grand Floridian and I write a review on the trip. Number one, obviously, I'm giving my money to Disney. And I talk about the good points, the bad points of staying there. But I'm also going to be that type of person that makes videos like this. I'm not going to be two-faced. I'm not going to be, quite honestly, in my opinion, like the majority of Disney and theme park vloggers out there who will make videos saying everything and everything is wonderful. And if they ever dare to make a comment that is critical, the comment is like, I'll give you an example. There was a Disney vlogger, and she made a comment about chocolate, and she's like, yeah, I didn't like that chocolate, but that's only because I don't like that type of chocolate. Other than that, it's a wonderful product by Disney. It's like, do you have any oomph to you? Do you have any opinions of your own? Or are you literally just like on the Disney dime, or trying to be on the Disney dime? Because quite frankly, it's not really a cute look. So, yeah, here's my thoughts. I accidentally fell into, I wouldn't really call it advocacy work, but I think that anytime you stand up for someone and you put yourself out there, it kind of gets, it's just the way it is. And that comes with negative feedback, because you have people out there who don't like that you're sharing or bringing attention to this type of stuff. When I ended up having my own experience with Disney regarding how they treated me with the daspass, it made me start to research other people. And I'm going to continue to do that. I'm going to continue to talk about things honestly as I see them, the good and the bad. So again, what that means is if you see me do something where I happen to go to Disney or something like that, then don't come at me in the comments and be like, how could you go there when you said all the following things? Is Disney my first pick in going to a resort to go on vacation? No. But I can see the point. Someone would say, like, if they're such a terrible company in your eyes, why would you go there and give them your money? I'm not at that level. I mean, there are people out there who feel that way, that if you feel this way about them, I can see the point of those commentators who will say, if you feel this strongly about this company and the wrongdoings that they're doing, why would you ever give them their money? And I totally hear what they're saying with that. In life, for the most part, I'm going to do what's good for me, whether that sounds, egotistic or not. But for example, if I get the desire to go somewhere and I get a really good cheap rate and I want to go, that's how it's going to be. But at least I'm going to be upfront about it. I'm going to tell you my thoughts, and I'm not going to hide anything. I'm going to tell you my true feelings so that things don't come off fake. Thank you for watching the video. And yeah, I hope this kind of gives some light, and I feel like the more people will get out there and start talking about things like this, number one, the less stigmatized it becomes, and two, it's just the way of people to be able to bring attention to things, and maybe, things will start to improve for people. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you soon in my next video, and bye!